Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another video. Um, as promised today on my Minds chat, I am going to do a video to show you why I was patient in waiting for the trade and what has helped me significantly to stay out the markets and not to rush my setups and you know just to basically do it as easy as possible. So before we begin, let me just pray. God, we just thank you again for another opportunity to trade, another opportunity to just go over the charts and to make profits. Lord, we just ask that you just be with us and just guide us and be it anyone watching this video. Pray a special blessing over them and may we all be successful. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. All right. So one of the things that I have learned um, over the past number of years, is that once you know what you're waiting for, waiting becomes easier. All right. The problem that a lot of people, myself included, had with waiting was that you weren't sure what you're waiting on. So that is why proper analysis works well. There's no substitute for hard work. There's no substitute for chart time. The more time you put in is the better you're going to get at it, So for me, practicing being on the charts all the time, I'm able to actually spot different things and I'm able to try different scenarios and to see how it works. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick and I'm going to show you what I was waiting on in order to be able to, take that trade. Okay, take the trade today. All right, so let me just use the backtest tool. All right, so we'll start from the beginning of the week. Okay, so this is where the market started on Friday. All right, now remember my strategy is I'm trading from my highs to my lows and my lows to my highs. That's it. There's no secret formula. There's no secret sauce. That's it. Highs to lows, lows to highs. That's it. Okay. If it's at a low, I'm buying. If it's at a high, I'm selling. That's it. All right. Now, so this is where the market ended last week. So as usual, I started my top-down analysis. So on my month, I see that my month is actually coming from a high. It came down, it made a higher low, then it made a lower high. Remember, each time the time frame makes a high, it always wants to work itself down to create a low, okay? Whether it does it in a direct form or it does it in a segmented form, it will work itself down to create a low. All times, never fails, okay? So that's my month. On my week, similar scenario. Price is actually at a high, came down, made a higher low. It came up, got a number of rejection points. It has continued selling, okay? But it's working itself down to create that low, all right? Never forget that. On the day, this is where the day finished. So your day is finished at a lower high, okay? Now you notice on your day has been making, it's coming from a higher high. It came down, it made a low, then it made a lower high, and it made a lower low. Okay, that's a complete trend move. Then it made a lower high and a lower low, another trend move. Then it came up this week, it stopped at a lower high. Now, here's the important thing. Remember, each time frame that I looked at before, my month and my week were all coming from highs. Okay, remember, you're coming from a high, you're going to work yourself down to make a low. Okay, and notice that what I've done my analysis from the top down. The biggest time frame is always the time frame that tells you the direction or what trend the market is in. Okay, so my bigger time frames both tell me, both my monthly and my week, both tell me that they're coming from highs. So naturally, lows are going to need to be made. Okay, but when I get to my day, I notice that my day is actually at lower lows already. Okay, now what this tells me is that the market needs to retrace in order for me to get another, excuse me, another high so that I can sell. Now notice it went lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, okay? But what makes me so sure that this market is going to go up? Well, remember I said to you, once the market is at a low or a lower low, it always tries to work itself up to the high, okay? It will push. If it reaches to a lower high point, then you basically have to understand then that's a rejection and it's going to continue selling. All right. Now, when I mention in my chats and in the minds that I don't go against the trend, this is exactly what I mean. Okay. So, for example, this buy right here. Okay. The reason why I took this buy a number of weeks ago was because all the time frames were actually at lower lows. So I was able to take that buy. All the time frames were at either lows or lower lows. So I was able to take that buy. However, now that the market is buying, remember, I am going to buy until the time frame that needs a high gets a high. So for example, no high has been formed on my daily, okay? When I look at my bigger time frame, which is my weekly also is coming from a higher low, right? Which means it needs to register some type of high. It's not going to be another high because you can't have two new highs, okay? You either have to have a lower high or it either has to go up and break this high to form a higher high, okay? So I know that the market is going to be pushing up from this point on. All right, so now I'm on my week. I see that. Now I'm on my day. So I know that in order for this market to sell again, I need it to be at a high point, okay? My next time frame down is now going to be my 4-hour. Now, this is where the market ended on Friday. Notice that the 4-hour came up and it came all the way up here and it actually made a high. Is this move over? Absolutely not. And the reason is because my bigger time frame is coming from a lower low, it needs to also go up and finish with a high. So that's why I mentioned to you guys that I'm only taking buys until my bigger time frame completes a high. Because again, let me remind you, the day was coming from a lower low. It has not put on a high, okay? And my smaller time frame, which is my 4-hour, will need to be making higher lows, higher highs in order to get to that high. Now, in this case, it actually did it in one direct move, which is this move, which bought, I think, probably about like 12,000 pips or more. All right. Now, this is what we're actually seeing. So this is where this market is at right now. It's coming from a lower low. It's at a high on the 4-hour. However, when you look at your day, the day still has not completed the high. So there are still going to be buys in this market. Okay. All right. So we're at the 4-hour point, and this is where we're at. When I go down to my 1-hour, I see a different story. I see on my 1-hour, so the smaller I get is the more defined the moves are going to be. So remember I mentioned to you the smaller time frame would need to be making higher lows, higher highs in order to complete that day, that high on the day. This is exactly what I was talking about right here. Higher lows, higher highs on my 1-hour time frame, all the way up to the top. Okay, so the move is not finished. So what am I waiting on to get in the move? All right, well, first and foremost, I need to make sure that when I'm entering a buy, I'm entering from a low position. Okay, it either has to be a low or a higher low on the biggest time frame that needs to make some sort of a low, and a low on the smaller time frame. Let me give you an example of this. So the market opened on Sunday, and this is what we saw. The price did that, continued pushing. Now, notice you have a higher low right here, okay? This is on my 1 hour time frame, all right? At this point, I wasn't really interested in getting back in the market. I was really intent in going to see what sells were available. So I'm monitoring my day because I know it's close to making that high point, okay? So I go back to my 1 hour. I see it's at a higher low. When I look at my next time frame down, which is now going to be my half hour, I see that my half hour is in fact at a low point, okay? Now, again, this low on my 15-minute translated to a higher low on the bigger time frame, which is the 1 hour, all right? Hope you're following me. You know, you can always pause the video and replay and everything like that to understand what it is that I'm saying, all right? So this time frame was actually at a low, okay? And remember, the move is higher lows, higher highs. So my bigger time frame is at a higher low. My smaller time frame is at a higher low. Remember, I need higher lows, higher highs in order for the day to make that high point. Now, one thing that I can do is when I look at my day, okay, I know that in order for the day to actually put on a high, it needs to push and break this previous high right here. I don't know if you can see it that well, but right here, where I have this blue line, that's where the day needs, that's where the price needs to break for the word high to come on my daily time frame. What that means is when I look at my smaller time frames, like my 1 hour, I need to be going in on higher lows, okay, to be able to come all the way to my take profit right here, which is this blue line, okay? All right. So as you see, the half hour is at a low point, okay? Made a low point. So what I've come in, what I would do now, somebody asked me, how do I set my limit orders? Okay. Now I see this, the candle that broke to make the low point is this red candle. So when I'm setting my limit, all I do is I take a line and I just put it right at the wick. We just change the color so I know that I added that. So I just put it at the wick and I just wait for price to actually come back and test it. And once it does, picks up my order and it continues going because I'm going with the trend. All right. So let's look at what price did. Price came all the way down there. It actually didn't test it, but hey, we'll see what happens, right? Price continued and it just shot right up. Okay. All right. So you set the order right there. All right. This is pretty much what I do. Okay. In order to get my buy limits. Now, if you look, you saw price took off and it just went. Like an order like this, I would have probably entered manually. If I saw that the retest came and it didn't come actually to my line, I would have taken the order manually and just went in. Notice price came here. So let's look at how it played out on my daily time frame. Boom. There goes the high on my daily time frame. Now, this is the important part that I don't want you guys to miss. All right. Now, the explanation is why are you taking buys? Sorry, why are you taking sells when the market is still buying or was still buying? Okay. And the simple answer to that is because I'm waiting on the day to make that high. Once the day registers that high, my bias is automatically for a sell. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to just jump in the sell and just wait for it to go all the way to the bottom, which most people on the charts, I mean, in the chat rooms actually do. They just jump in and think it's just some magic one where it's just going to go all the way to the bottom. No, sometimes the market consolidates before it actually turns around. All right. But my bias is still going to be for the sells. Why? Because my day already registered a high right here. All right. So I'm going back on my 1 hour, and this is what I'm doing. So immediately, let me just put the cursor back here so I'll show it to you how I take my trades. So we're here. All right. Now remember, once it breaks this line, this is where I am going in for my sell. Okay. All right. So let's look. Price did that. It was a lower high. It didn't make the day as yet. It didn't break. Okay. Boom. It came here. This was the candle that broke it. Okay. So how do I enter my sell? All right. This is my entry right here. Right here. That's my entry right at the wick. Okay. And I'm not doing anything at all until price comes back and touch that wick. Okay. Price did come back and touch the wick. Boom. I'm in the sell. Okay. Now watch what I'm doing carefully. Okay. Although I'm in the sell and the market is still making higher lows, higher highs, look at my exits. So the price did this. Now it came and it made a higher low right here. I'm checking my time frames. Okay. I know I'm going from high to lows. So I'm not ready to come out of this trade as yet. I'm not. So I'm staying on my half hour. I'm going higher lows, high to lows, right? So let's watch. Now remember, I came in right here. This is where I came in. So although I was in profit and it came back up and it put me in the red, guess what? No worries, because here was my entry. So it's not a lot of pips. So I'm not scared of the retracement. So people say, well, oh, stop loss. No, I'm not worried about that because I came in at a high point on the market. Okay. So even if the price does this and it comes back up, it's okay. I know that the price is going to be making a low soon. Okay. So look at what price does. Boom. There goes my low. Okay. So I came in here at this blue line. I exited right here. So I made 1,058 pips. Okay. All right. All because I came in on that high, sold it to the low. That's it. Now, once it makes this low, I'm out of the market. I'm out of the market and I'm waiting. Why? When I look at my big time frame, all right, right here, it's a low. It's a low on the 1 hour. Okay. So I'm out of this. I'm literally just waiting for the price to do something so I can get back into the trade and everything like that. So I'm out of this market. Okay. Now look at what happens. Once I'm out of this market, I'm looking at my 2 hour. See, my 2 hours now at a higher low. Okay. I am now watching to see what type of highs, because remember, I'm getting into the market on the highs. So I'm watching to see what this market is doing. All right. So it has to come back up to make a high before I go back in. So I'm watching to see the type of high that is made. All right. And this is what it did today. Now, also, where is my other sell going to be? Right at this wick, right here. That's where my next sell is going to be. I'm waiting for price to come back and touch that wick. And I'm in another sell. Remember, I'm coming in on the extreme points in the market. So look at what price did. It's a matter of patience. So you're just sitting down and waiting. I'm not taking any buys because I'm not going against the trend. Remember, the market already showed me what it is doing by making that high. So I'm looking only for sells, selling to the highs, to the lows. Back on my 30-minute. Let's look at what happened. Sorry. So here we go. Boom. It made this high right here. Took this trade. It came down. Then it did this. And people are like, oh my goodness, your stop loss. No, my stop loss is not in danger. I came in right here. So even the price came back and retraces. So what? I came in at a high. Price has to sell from a high. Okay, just a matter of waiting. Price did that. Look at what it did again. And it went and made a higher low. And it came back up and it made a higher high. So what? Not to worry. Take another entry right here. Look at what price did. Boom. Price just did that and it just kept going. And we are right where we are right now. So I actually exited this trade today because, you know, it was still in the consolidation phase. There's a lot of volatility. So I took my profit and I came out once the 30 minute actually made that low. Okay. So now I'm out of the market, you know, missing all of this sell, but it's okay. I'm just waiting for another opportunity to get into the market. Now we see that the market has started on the downward path. How do I know this? Look at what happened. This is the half hour. Price came up, did consolidation right here, made, you know, double, triple top, whatever you want to call it, and everything before it actually broke for the low, and it just kept going ever since. Now, if I don't get another setup, I just wait. The setups will always come. That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about the market. The setups will always come on this market. There's no need to be chasing the price. It is the easiest thing to trade once you understand what you're doing. So, you know, most people, you know, when the price came, they're like, oh, yeah, sell, jump in. Okay, fine. Yeah, you might jump in and you may get your pips and you might catch the wave and everything. I prefer to just wait. There's no reason for me to rush. The price will always come back. Okay. So, and that's what I do. So when I go, let me look at my 1 hour. My 1 hour actually came down and it did make a low. All right. Did make a low and it continued pushing, which is fine. Okay. What am I waiting for again? So my other sell limit is here. I'm expecting price to come back up at this point in time. I'm not going to be taking the buys. I'm waiting because my bias is for the sells. All right. When I look at my bigger time frame, like my 4 hour, I see that my 4 hour is at a higher low. Okay. Now, couple of things. The 4 hour can actually push and come all the way back down here to break for another low. You know, but believe me, I will get entries before I actually get down to this point on my smaller time frames. All right. It's all about coming in on your highs and selling to your lows. So I'm not worried that this is doing this. I'm not panicking. Price always comes back. So again, going back on my 1 hour, I see that the price is pushing. Now, price is actually at an oversold low. It's okay. All I got to do is just wait. I just got to wait. Just got to wait. You may get the best sell of your life and everything. This was a perfect entry for me. I could have stayed in the trade and everything, but it's okay. I know exactly what to do to get into the market right now, so I'm not worried. I'm literally not worried about it. There will always be moves, and because I trade the extremes of the market, I trade the highs and the lows. Listen, every time when the market makes a high, it always makes a low. Every time it makes a low, it always makes a high. No big deal. No need rushing. Practice the strategy, guys. It works. And I'll tell you, the more you practice is the more you're going to see things jumping out at you. So that's what actually helped me to be patient. Traded the highs and the lows, taken from the bigger time frames, watching it play out on my small time frame. Now, if you notice, I never looked at my 5 minute. I never looked at my 3 minute. Never looked at my 1 minute. None of that stuff. And you get the big moves. Now, from where the entry was today to where it is right now, I can almost tell it's probably over 2,000 pips. Yep. So if I had stayed in that move today, I would have almost doubled my account right now because I only need 2,500 pips to double my account. But it's okay. There are many more moves to come. Many more moves. So if you look at this, look at your day. This is where your day is right now. Okay. It made a high. Guess what? I can almost tell you that this is going to come right back down here to make this low, unless something else happens where your 4 hour makes a higher low. Higher low to a lower high and then a low. All right. Then you'll see a higher low on your daily. And then, you know, you start seeing all other things that causes you to actually analyze differently. But the key is, guys, all I do is real simple. Trade the highs to the lows, getting on the highs for your sells, getting on the lows for your buys. It's that simple. So none of that crazy stuff about watching Powell and this and no, I don't get involved in all of that. Yes, you pay attention to the news because you want to make sure that you are getting your correct entries. You wait for the highs, sell to the lows. Wait for the lows, buy to the highs. That's it. All right. So I hope this video helps you guys. You know, and I'll make more videos as soon as more content becomes available. If I think of something that's going to be interesting, I'll make more videos for you guys. All right. So God, we just thank you again for your blessings and this opportunity to just trade. Lord, thank you for helping us to be able to get that entry today and just to be patient. I pray for anyone watching this video, help them to get an extra dose of patience this week. Tomorrow is the end of the week, but may we have a better week next week, and may we just continue to improve. We thank you. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, take care. I will see you next time.